Hello, my name is Jeffrey Nazuka, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our presentation today, titled Technology Solutions for Land Management. If you have questions throughout the presentation, we'd like to encourage you to forward those questions to our Ag Analytics support team at support@analytics.ag. This email will also be provided further in the presentation. So, as I mentioned earlier, my name is Jeffrey Nazuka, and I am a business analyst at Ag Analytics. Also joining me on the presentation is Michael Anderson, a fellow business analyst. So, a quick review of the agenda to set the context for the presentation today. I will make some brief introductory comments, then we will be looking at the tools that Ag Analytics has been working on to make it easy to access and manage a collection of field level data. We'll spend some time reviewing the data integrations and profit mapping tools that simplify workflows and provide better business insights. Then we'll have the opportunity to see visualization and analysis of data in the ArcGIS geospatial mapping platform. Finally, we'll wrap up the presentation by providing some closing thoughts and share some information on how to get started with the tools you see today. So first, I'd like to share a brief introduction about Ag Analytics. Ag Analytics is a farm analytics and data management company founded in 2018, specializing in the analysis of precision ag data, remote satellite analytics, and risk management. We enable users and organizations to gain deeper insights from a collection of precision ag and geospatial field data to improve operational and business results. We've established and maintained data integration pipelines with John Deere Operations Center, Climate Field View, and CNH. We currently process and manage about 330 million acre years of high-resolution precision farming data for our clients. And we also maintain a pretty global footprint of satellite imagery and radar data on our platform as well. We also maintain an extensive machine learning and AI infrastructure for analyzing the data in our platform. And finally, we have a specialization in risk management. So we develop and curate a host of insurance tools for our customers. In terms of field level actions and services, we also offer the ability to order on-demand aerial drone imagery and AI-based field imagery analysis reports. We also offer drainage and water management engineering services and consultation, including tile engineering, topography, and watershed analysis. We'll start the presentation by exploring data layers, a solution that enables easy access and management of field level data. So Michael, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jeff. So Data Layers is a free service that allows you to quickly access data at the field level. You simply select a field or draw one on the map, and data layers will flow in seamlessly. So this includes weather data, soil data, satellite imagery, and many other metrics which we'll showcase for you now. So this is the data layers interface. It starts off with a map, so we can zoom in. Let's zoom into Iowa, and from here we can start to select a field. So we can select either using these common land unit boundaries, or we can just draw a field onto the map. So we'll draw a square on the map to select a field, and the data will start to flow in. Now, first off, we have the Polaris soil layer, which shows different soil statistics such as pH and different soil content percentages like organic matter and silt percentage. And you can view these statistics at different depths. Next, we'll go to the Surgo soil layer from the USGS. Here we can see the different soil types associated with the field. Next, we can view the topographic profile of our field, starting with the USGS digital elevation model layer. From this layer, we can calculate additional elevation indices that can provide deeper elevation insights. So first off, relative elevation shows elevation compared to the average for the overall field. Slope shows the gradient or steepness of the field. Topographic position index shows the extremes in elevation, where water would be most likely to pool or to run off. And lastly, the terrain ruggedness index is another gradient-centric layer that shows hilliness and steepness. Next, we'll take a look at Nape aerial imagery. This is high-resolution historical imagery that you can use to see how a field has changed over the years. So we can see how 2015, for instance, differs from 2017. This imagery is also higher resolution than the base map, and if we toggle between the two, we can see the differences between them. We also pull in harmonized data from both Landsat and Sentinel satellite programs. Here we're looking at Ndvi, which shows vegetation health of different areas of the field. Since it's set to January right now, there isn't much vegetation. But if we go back to August, and we can go all the way back to 2013 with our historical data, if we go to August, we can see that the vegetation is pretty healthy since there's crops on the field. In addition to Ndvi, we also pull in many other bands and also indices that we calculate. So for instance, we can check out something like near-infrared data as well. So with that near-infrared data loaded in, let's head over to the Cropland data layer, which provides a historical estimate of what crops were planted on the field by year, and this is sourced from the USDA. So in 2018, for instance, the center portion of this field was mostly soybeans, but if we go back to 2017, we can compare it and see that it's mostly corn. So this particular field is likely doing a corn-soy rotation, and we can infer that from the Cropland data layer. In addition to layers of data, we also provide a large suite of weather data, and this includes current and weekly weather forecasts, which we can view here, as well as severe weather alerts, so any snow events, hurricanes, tornadoes, heavy rain or winds, those will show up in this interface, and you can kind of navigate to see which alerts fall over your jurisdiction. So this particular area, for instance, has some winter storm warnings, and we can see that by clicking on the map. Now, in addition to that, we also bring in growing degree day data. So this provides both current and historical growing degree day data. We can adjust the start year and the end year if we want to, as well as the month. And we can also adjust the growing degree day cutoff if, for instance, we want to change it for a certain crop. We also have another very similar interface for precipitation data. So again, we can view both the current and historical precipitation data for this particular field. Now lastly, before I showcase our insurance tools, we also provide interferometric wide swath radar, and this can highlight things like structures or equipment that are on our selected field. With that, let's head over to our insurance tools, and we'll start with our what-if analysis. This tool allows you to enter hypothetical end-of-season results to see how they would impact crop insurance. So we have many different inputs that allow for precise estimations, but we'll just focus on these what-if inputs. So I can say, for instance, what if my harvest prices end up being $4.10 per bushel? How will that impact my revenue protection insurance? So then we can view the resulting net payment per acre at different coverage levels, as well as our liability or coverage per acre at different coverage levels. Now, in addition to our what if tool, we also offer an insurance premium calculator. This tool calculates premium per acre and liability per acre at different coverage levels. So this estimate is for revenue protection, but we can also see results for yield protection, for instance. And again, there are a wide range of inputs to enable very finely tuned estimations. Our final insurance tool is Insurance AI, and this tool factors in your field's soil, climate, and location to create a customized yield risk model that estimates your likelihood of insurance payments for different types of insurance, and also generates some distribution curves. So with these curves, we can see our likelihood of reaching different metrics. So for instance, this yield distribution curve is showing us that we have around a 75% likelihood of receiving less than 210 bushels per acre of yield on this field. We can also, of course, adjust the insurance type, and we can view distribution curves for revenue, harvest price, and insurance payment as well. And along with that, we also include some summary tables of insurance statistics and soil statistics as well. So at the bottom, we can see some NCCPI statistics as well as our expected yields for this field. So that covers our current data layers features. Before I touch on some of our upcoming features, I'll show you how we can save all of our data to a PDF. So if we select Create PDF here at the bottom right-hand corner, we can choose which data layers to include, and we'll just generate this. And once it's generated, we can view our PDF, and we have all our data layers in one place. Last but not least, I'll touch on our upcoming land value tools. These will make it easy to estimate the worth of a parcel of land through AI models and sales comparisons. So our land value AI uses training on different data sets as well as sales comparisons to estimate property values, and this is supplemented by our database of active and historical farmland sales, which we have set up in partnership with Farmland Finder. Here's our concept for the tool in the data layer system. So what we're seeing here is a radius around the field to search for the comparable sales within. We also set a date range that we use to search for either sold or active listings. The comparable sales then show up within our radius on the map. And on the side here, we can see our land value AI estimations, which are taken not just from the comparable sales, but also from data that the AI models have trained on. Now, there's also a table to easily compare our target field with both the comparables that show up, and the county level statistics. And it's also very easy to view the details of all the comparable sales that come up. So if a sale is selected in this list, the map zooms to the sale and we can view the stats of that parcel. So here we see the boundary and sale price of the comparable sale on the map, as well as some field level statistics like CSR2 and tillable acres in the drop-down list. So this will be coming soon to data layers, and it will enable some very easy land value estimations. And with that, I'll pass it back over to Jeff.
Thank you, Michael. So, what you just saw is the ability for you to quickly access a suite of soils data, satellite imagery, and more, as well as a couple of tools and datasets specifically tailored towards managing the value and transactions of fields and land properties. Those imagery and datasets were all accessible after just the first step of claiming your field. Now, let's discuss how we can simplify your workflows even further by utilizing Ag Analytics Precision Agriculture integrations. So, what are the Precision Ag integrations? The Ag Analytics Precision Agriculture integrations are direct data pipelines that securely pull down your precision agriculture operations data and field boundaries from your Precision Ag platform of choice. Relating this back to what you just saw, we will process your field boundaries from your Precision Ag platform, so if you integrate, you can skip the field selection and claiming process and go straight to accessing your field level data in data layers. Currently, we maintain 3 integrations: John Deere Operations Center, Climate Field View, and CNH. All data migration and processing is done automatically, so there's no complicated hoops to jump through. Ultimately, you only need to integrate one time, and your data will sync automatically from your Precision Ag system. So let me show you how this is done. So the first step is to visit our integration page at profit.ag/integrate. Then to begin the integration process, just select your Precision Ag platform, and you'll be redirected to that platform's login portal. The final step is for you to log in with your Precision Ag platform's account, and your field boundaries and Precision Ag operations will be automatically loaded in. You can manage the status of your integration as your data is automatically imported and processed into your account. Again, this is a one-time process. So while the integration is processing, it may be helpful to review what Precision Ag actually is for those of you who are less familiar. So most modern farm equipment have sensors on them that measure everything from what's planted, what's harvested, moisture content, etc. So it generates high-resolution images based on those sensor readings, but the images come in formats that aren't typically ready to consume. So our integrations will process the data and the imagery so you can view, manage, and interact with it on our Profit Layers platform. Now that we've reviewed what Precision Ag data is, let's go see it in action in Profit Layers. The primary goal of the Profit Layers platform would be to generate a profit map using your field operations data. Again, that's things like harvests, seedings, applications, and more. Profit Layers also provides additional maps and analysis tools to better understand your field's profitability in different key metrics. So again, for those of you who don't have Precision Ag data, you can quickly create operations data manually in the app, then use those operations to calculate profits. So once your integration has finished, let's go visit the Profit Layers app. Typically on these platforms, the data are organized by organization, farm, and field. So to start, let's select your field boundary right here, which will take you to the Profit Layers setup section. Now that you're in the Profit Layers setup section, you'll be able to view all of your operations data that's been integrated in from your Precision Ag platform. We organize the precision data based on their operations. So for example, you have all your harvest operations in one place, you've got your seedings, chemical and fertilizer applications, and more. As an example, we can take a look a little bit deeper at this harvest operation and see some key statistics like crop variety, acreage worked, yield rate. To generate a revenue value from this operation, you would assign a crop price, which you can do with this text box here. We'll pre-populate the majority of prices for you, but for improved accuracy, you can enter a price manually. just to reinforce our understanding of precision ag data and the database maps that are being generated from John Deere, for example, we can view the yield map that this operation represents. Again, for those of you who don't have precision ag data, this interface will allow you to manually create operations to use in calculating your field's profits. I'll highlight this feature later in the profit layers section as well. So once you've confirmed that your operations and their corresponding prices are accurate and ready to go, you can generate your profit layers map by selecting View Profit Layers at the top of the page. Doing so will show you your profit layers profit map, which represents your aggregated costs and revenues on the field in map form. So very quickly, you can start to see areas of higher and lower profits represented by the zones of green and red on the map. The map is also pretty customizable, so you can set different colors at different profit breakpoints. Like, for example, if you want to set all of the areas of negative profit to red, and that way be able to view all of the areas generating losses on your field as the color red. In addition to your profit layers map, we'll also provide you with analysis tools and supplementary maps. First, with the profit map, you can view the performance of each of your varieties by seeing a breakdown of variety-specific profits on your field. For example, in the top right-hand corner, we have 2 varieties of soybean on this field, with one very clearly underperforming the other. With this insight, you can immediately start to kind of think of management decisions that would positively affect your bottom line for next year, like possibly sticking with a more profitable variety. I will return to this variety analysis with more detail in a bit here. Next, selecting Comparison View on the left will allow you to view and compare your profit layers profit map side by side with relevant field level maps, like elevation and indices, as Michael described previously. You can also see your as harvested or as applied operations maps and your variety map. Each of these maps can be helpful in their own right. For example, taking a look at the variety map, we can start to see similarities between the area planted for soybean variety 1526 and the large area of profit losses that are occurring in the western middle section of this field, the large chunk of red. If you want to view your maps in more detail, you can also do that by selecting the Elevation Map tab or the Operation Layers tab to the left. Now we're moving into the analysis tools, and we'll start with a continuation on the variety analysis. So we've already established that we can view levels of profit for each variety on the field. In the variety analysis section, we can quickly view those same profit levels, but we can also view the profit map for those sections of the field that are planted with each particular variety. To do so, we can use the drop-down menu in the top left corner of the map to select a variety, then view the profit map for that variety. So what you're seeing right now is the profit map for just the area which was seeded with Dairyland 1721, and this might visually clue you in on certain areas of the field that need a change in production practices. So again, to recap, what we did here is after profit layers automatically discerned exactly where each variety was planted, it allowed you to select that planted area as a zone to analyze your profits in. So let's take that concept a step further in the zone analysis, which allows you to construct any custom zone on your field. If you select Draw Zones, we have a variety of different zone creation tools at your disposal, and you can use them to create a management zone in which you can analyze profits. So for example, I will use the grid tool here to select a large area on the northwestern side of the field. And when I run this, you can see that profit layers will grab the profit map for that zone. And more importantly, will recalculate my profits for that zone. You can also use the zone analysis to view profits based on different soil types, since soil types can greatly impact things like nutrient uptake and irrigation inefficiencies. You can select the Surgo option up above to view your profits for each soil type on the field. So let's say I select Surgo, I can run the zone analysis here, and you will be able to view your profit layers for that particular zone on the field as well. And finally, you can run the zone analysis for any chemical or fertilizer application that you did on the field. So for example, I will select this tank mix of Cadet, and we see that only about 21% of the field was applied. So the drop-down menu will display the profit map for just the section applied, as well as just the areas of the field that were not applied. And if we select the area that was applied, we can see that profits are pretty wide-ranging, from negative $180 per acre in some places to a positive $132 in others. Based on the colors and the wide-ranging profits, we can see that the application might not have had a strong effect on the large chunk of negative profits that we see in this field. Moving on to our next analysis tool, we have the costs chart, which will aggregate all of the different costs on the field and compare them against each other in pie chart format. You can also choose to include or exclude certain field costs, meaning if you wanted to see your field cost without the cost of your seed, you can easily do so. Next, we have the scatter plot analysis, which takes the individual data points from your field data and plots them on a scatter plot. This visualization of your data points allows you to identify any trends that are happening on your field. You can select from a large variety of metrics to display on your axes. So for example, a good place to start is your field profits as a function of your field's elevation. Here we can see that there isn't a heavy, strong trend between field elevation and profits, but the data shows that it's not completely scattered either. Other interesting scatter plot analyses we recommend viewing include profit as a function of your seeding rates or profit as a function of your application rates, which are both helpful, especially if you want to test or conduct trials on your field. Finally, we've also included the insurance tools into profit layers. So as Michael explained previously, you can use the premium calculator to estimate what different insurance types are going to cost you in that field, and you can use the what-if analysis to estimate your premium and net payment levels based on different prices or yield outcomes. What's special about the profit layers version of the what-if analysis is that we tie in the profit map that you just created, and you can see that to the right. So you can see how your profit map adjusts in these different scenarios if you were to change things like your actual yield on the field or the harvest price. Now that we've covered all of the analysis tools, let's return to the profit layers setup section, where you can also create manual operations layers easily in the app or create a preset template of manual operations. These manual operations can be used in the current year. So for you folks who don't have precision ag data, this allows you to calculate your field profits. The operations can also be used for the coming crop year as well, so that allows you to start preparing for next year's operations and profit predictions. To start preparing for next year's operations, we recommend starting by creating a batch of operations using the Cropland template tool, which generates a set of operations on your field. The crop template tool will allow you to select from a number of common crop plans, for example, continuous corn, corn following soybeans, etc. And these operations and values will correspond to recommended crop plans from local university extensions. As you can see, all of the relevant operations like harvest, seedings, different chemical applications, those are all automatically loaded in. So all you have to do is just select Generate Operations, which will automatically apply the template and create these operations on your field. That was for a set of operations. If you want to create a single manual operation, let's say a seeding, you can head to the Seeding tab, then select the Add Manual Seeding button. This will open a pop-up where you can declare your crop, variety, desired seeding rate, and the expected price of your seed. We'll calculate the cost per acre out for you. If you intend on practicing variable rate seeding, you can create custom zones by using the zone creation tools on the map. You can also upload shape files if you want to set your zones using something like soil test results. Once the operations are complete, you can download these operations as shapefiles, then use them as prescriptions for your seeder, combine, or other machinery. You can also view and analyze these operations and other data on specialized geospatial mapping systems like ArcGIS Pro by using the Arcgis Add-In by Ag Analytics. I will turn it over to Michael here to walk you through the add-in. Michael, over to you.
Thanks, Jeff. So the Ag Analytics add-in for ArcGIS Pro makes it very simple and easy to import and interact with precision ag data directly. So users can automatically download their precision ag data after integrating their account, and this brings in field boundaries as well as operations such as harvesting and seeding. So this data can then be supplemented by some of those same data feeds that we saw in data layers. So this includes satellite imagery and also elevation layers as well. And also users can even generate profit layers in the Ag Analytics add-in, and they can also use the tool to convert raw files such as adapt files into usable formats like shapefiles and rasters. So we'll get right into it, just starting with downloading the add-in. To use all the features we'll be showing off today, you'll need to purchase the premium version, which is $500 annually, but also comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee trial period. But once the download is installed, it'll be automatically added to ArcGIS Pro, and once ArcGIS Pro is launched, we get this Ag Analytics banner at the top with all our tools in one place. So login and integration are handled in a similar way to profit layers. Users just need an Ag Analytics account, and once they integrate with either Deere, Climate, or CNH, their data will flow in seamlessly. With an integrated account, we can use the Manage Data tool to select which fields we want to bring in. So this has the same organization, farm, and field structure that we saw in profit layers. So we'll just go ahead and select field using the dropdowns, and the field boundary will automatically load in once we select it. And from here we can start to bring in our precision ag data. So this particular field just has this one harvest operation. So if we go ahead and select it, we can then download this data. And once our data is downloaded, we can click View to view it on the map. So a lot of processing happens on our end to make everything so simple, but the end result are these shapefile and raster layers that contain all of our data. Now we bring in vector data in shapefile format, which is similar to what you'd see coming off the tractor, and you can even make out the travel path the machine took. But we also split all the individual statistics like yield volume and wet mass into gridded raster layers that can be used to easily build profit maps. So just to highlight this a bit more, I'll head over to an example that already has some nicely symbolized layers. So this is our shapefile layer for harvesting. If we click on just a section of the map, we can see all of the statistics associated with it. So this is a corn map, so we have things like yield volume, wet mass, and moisture as well. And again, all of these statistics are represented in their own gridded raster layers. So this is our yield volume layer, for instance, where we can see the yield in bushels of corn if we click on the map. And along with our harvest layer, we also have a seeding layer and a chemical application layer. So this is our seeding raster. We can click the quantity of seeds applied here. And we also have a chemical application grid as well. Just like in profit layers in the web version, we can use these rasters to build a profit map. And we'll essentially be taking the quantities that we just saw and we'll associate them with prices. And this will end up giving us costs and revenues. So in this instance, our loan revenue will be our yield volume in bushels. And since this is corn, we'll give it a value of around $4 per bushel. And we'll also add our seeding raster as a cost. So for this, we'll make it negative and we'll set it to $0.003 per seed. And we'll also add a cost for our chemical application as well. With everything loaded in to this little menu here, we can just select our download location. And once we submit, our profit map will be created. So here's our profit map loaded in. If we select a location on the map, we can now see our profits. And again, this was calculated by combining those harvest revenues with both our seeding costs and our chemical costs. Now, just as we saw earlier in data layers, we can supplement our precision data and profit layers by adding in additional data streams. So in this instance, we can bring in elevation and those calculated elevation indices to gain some insights into the topography of our field. So here we have our regular digital elevation model layer. We have our relative elevation. We also have our slope. We have our terrain ruggedness index and our topographic position index as well. And if we take the slope, we can actually go ahead and compare it to our seeding raster here. And if we investigate by toggling between these layers, we can see how the planned seeding rate was influenced by our field's gradients. And especially in certain areas, it's very visible how parts of the field were either over or under seeded to compensate for that varying slope. Now, the other data stream that's currently included in the add-in is our Harmonized Landsat and Sentinel satellite imagery service. With this, like we touched on earlier, there are many visible and non-visible bands available, and we also provide calculated indices that provide some pretty advanced insights. And Ndvi, for instance, is one of those indices, and using Ndvi we can see how vegetation varies throughout the growing season. So here in October, vegetation is pretty dead, but if we head into September, we can see it starts to get more lively. Then down into August and July, it gets way more green. And then going back through June and May, it starts to become more red again. And again, this data goes all the way back to 2013, and we can call it for any time of the year to just gain that advanced insight into our vegetative health. Now that covers the analytical features of the add-in, but I do want to bring up a few additional points. One of those being that we can convert raw precision ag adapt files from vendors like Climate and CNH into shapefile and raster layers using our adapt tool. So this makes it easy to display your data if you only have those raw files available. And lastly, I just want to highlight that once your data is brought in, those raw files are very easy to access. We just need to go into our ArcGIS project folder, and from there those files can be used however you want. They're yours to do whatever with. So here we can view all the different layer categories that we have. And for instance, if we go into our harvest folder, we can see some harvest rasters that are available for us to use. So in just a few steps there with the Ag Analytics add-in for ArcGIS Pro, we were able to make it very easy to bring in and display our field boundaries and precision ag data. And from that data, we were able to generate profit maps and use additional data streams to gain advanced insights. And with that, I'll pass it back over to Jeff.
Okay, thank you, Michael, for walking us through the power of ArcGIS software in visualizing and analyzing your data. Now, let's quickly review what we've demonstrated today and then provide some information on next steps if you're interested in getting started with these tools. So, you can start by quickly accessing your field level insights and datasets with data layers. Then you can quickly integrate precision ag data from John Deere Ops Center, Climate Field View, or CNH. You can analyze your precision ag data and evaluate field profits using the Profit Layers profit mapping system. And additionally, you can access and visualize your field level data as well as conduct profit analyses in the ArcGIS Pro platform by using the Ag Analytics add-in. So for next steps, you can start your access to data layers and profit layers by visiting the link on the presentation, profit.ag/app, then creating your free account. If you're interested in using the ArcGIS add-in, you can visit profit.ag/Esri to download and explore the add-in for free. Additionally, you can contact us with the emails listed here on the screen. For any questions, feel free to email us directly or email Ag Analytics support at support@analytics.ag. You can also visit our company website at www.analytics.ag or learn more about Profit Layers at the Profit Layers website, www.profit.ag. Again, thank you all for attending, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.